I, 34-year-old female, was supposed to be in Chicago until Friday. Flight got canceled, came home early. My fiancé's best friend was over. Guys' night, apparently. I heard them talking in our bedroom as I approached the door. I mean, I do love her, Brady was saying. She's successful, stable, treats me well, her family adores me, but, long pause, but I'm not attracted to her anymore. Like, at all. Haven't been for months. I'm just waiting for the right time to leave. After I get that promotion, maybe, or after the holidays. Her connections already got me 3 interviews, so I'm good there. His friend Jason said, "Dude, you're still planning the wedding, though." Brady laughed. I know it's messed up, but breaking off an engagement is such a hassle, you know? Her family's already bought plane tickets. We've got deposits everywhere. Plus, she's been so helpful with my career stuff. Her marketing network is incredible. I just need to time this right. Does she know? Jason asked. Please, she's completely clueless. Still makes me dinner every night like some 1950s housewife. It's honestly kind of pathetic how she tries so hard. They both laughed. My hands were shaking as I stood in that hallway. 3 years. 3 years of thinking we were building something real together. The dinner comment hit especially hard because I'd literally meal prepped for him that entire week, knowing he'd been stressed about work. I'd been proud of taking care of him. Pathetic. The word echoed in my head. Is that really how he saw my efforts to be a good partner? I opened the door, walked straight into the bedroom. They jumped. Brady's face went completely white. Hey, babe, I thought you were in Chicago until the right time is now, I said. What? You said you were waiting for the right time to leave. This is it. We're done. Complete silence. Jason was suddenly very interested in his phone. Brady stood up slowly, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. How much did you hear? All of it. The part where you're not attracted to me. The part where you're using my connections. The part where I'm pathetic and trying too hard. That cover everything? Jason grabbed his jacket. Yeah, you should, I said. Brady grabbed my arm, and I noticed how his touch felt different now. Desperate instead of loving. Wait, please, let's talk privately. Not in front of him. Why? You had no problem calling me pathetic in front of him 2 minutes ago. I didn't mean it like that. I was just venting. Everyone vents to their friends. For months while planning your exit strategy and using my professional network. That's not venting, Brady. That's using. He started getting defensive, his voice rising. You're twisting my words. That's not what I meant. Really? What context makes I'm not attracted to her anymore and she's pathetic sound better? Silence. Jason practically ran out of the apartment. Brady tried to move closer, but I stepped back instinctively. Please, Olivia. I made a mistake. I was stressed about the wedding. I said stupid things. Don't throw away 3 years over this. You already threw it away. I'm just the one saying it out loud. No, we can fix this. Couples therapy, whatever you want. I want someone who's actually attracted to me and isn't using me as a career stepping stone. That's not you. I started packing a bag, my hands surprisingly steady now that the shock was wearing off. Brady followed me around the apartment, alternating between trying to explain how I was taking things out of context and getting angry that I wasn't being reasonable. Olivia, be logical here. You're throwing away 3 years because of one conversation where I expressed some doubts. That's insane. Expressed doubts? You had a timeline, Brady. You said months, not days or weeks. Months of faking attraction to me while planning your exit. I wasn't faking anything. God, you're being so dramatic. I stopped packing and looked at him directly. When's the last time you initiated physical intimacy between us? He opened his mouth, then closed it. When's the last time you suggested a date night that wasn't just watching Netflix? Another pause. When's the last time you looked at me like you actually wanted me and not like I was a roommate who happens to share your bed? He couldn't answer any of it because we both knew the truth. I'd been making excuses for months about his distance, his lack of interest, his constant work stress explanations. I'd been trying harder, cooking more, being more understanding, thinking if I just gave him space and support, things would get better. Pathetic. Maybe I had been pathetic, but not anymore. I grabbed my overnight bag and headed for the door. Where are you going? My sister's place. For how long? I don't know, until I figure out what I want that doesn't involve someone who sees me as a consolation prize. He called 12 times that night while I sat in my sister Kate's kitchen, staring at my phone. Kate made tea and didn't ask questions, just sat with me while I tried to process everything. I keep thinking about all the signs I missed, I told her around 2 a.m. Like what? The way he stopped complimenting me, how he always had his phone during dinner, that he stopped asking about my day, really asking, not just going through the motions. Kate nodded. You weren't missing signs, Liv. You were trusting someone you loved. That's not a character flaw. But I feel so stupid. 3 years, Kate. 3 years of my life. 3 years that taught you what you don't want. That's not worthless. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard his laugh when he called me pathetic. I thought about all the dinners I'd made, all the times I'd supported his career moves, all the networking events I'd brought him to. Had he been counting down the days then too? By morning, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going back to that apartment to beg or negotiate or try to convince someone to want me. I was 34 years old, a successful marketing director, and I'd already survived 1 divorce. I could survive this too. But first, I needed to go back and get my things. And I needed to figure out how to untangle 3 years of combined life with someone who'd been planning his exit while I was planning our future. Went back to our apartment a few days later to get more stuff. Brady was there with his mom and brother. Intervention time. His mom, Patricia Kingston, started immediately. Olivia, honey, let's all sit down and discuss this like adults. Nothing to discuss. His brother Colton jumped in. You're seriously going to throw away 3 years because he had 1 private conversation with his friend? 1 private conversation where he admitted he's not attracted to me and is using my professional network while planning to leave? Yeah, pretty much. Brady looked rough, dark circles under his eyes, unshaven, wearing the same shirt I'd seen him in 2 days ago. For a split second, I felt bad for him. Then I remembered the laugh. Babe, please. I've thought about nothing else. I was wrong. So wrong. I am attracted to you. I do love you. I was just having pre-wedding jitters and expressed it terribly. Patricia nodded enthusiastically. Wedding stress is totally normal. I almost left his father twice before our wedding. Did you tell your friends he was pathetic and you were using him for his connections? I asked. Uncomfortable silence filled the room. Patricia's smile faltered. Colton tried again. People say things they don't mean when they're stressed. The wedding planning has been intense. He wasn't stressed about wedding planning. He was planning when to dump me after maximizing the benefits of staying engaged. Brady shook his head vigorously. That's not true. I swear I wasn't planning anything. I was just spiraling, having intrusive thoughts. Your exact words were, I'm just waiting for the right time to leave, after I get that promotion. Those aren't intrusive thoughts, Brady. That's a timeline. Patricia's face hardened. You're being incredibly cruel right now. My son has been nothing but devoted to you. Devoted to my professional connections? Yeah. Colton stood up, his face flushing red. You know what? Maybe he dodged a bullet. You're obviously not mature enough for marriage if you can't handle your partner having complicated feelings. Complicated feelings like laughing while calling me pathetic? I grabbed my laptop bag and headed toward the bedroom to get more clothes. The apartment felt different now, tainted. Every corner held memories that felt false. The kitchen where I'd made countless dinners, the living room where we'd planned our future, the bedroom where he'd apparently been counting down days. Brady blocked the doorway. Can we please talk? Just 5 minutes. Just us. Patricia and Colton exchanged looks and reluctantly headed for the door. But not before Patricia whispered loud enough for me to hear, Don't beg her, honey. She's not worth it. The words hit harder than I expected. I'd always thought Patricia liked me. We'd gone shopping together, had lunch dates, planned wedding details. Had that all been fake too? Once they were gone, Brady's whole demeanor shifted. Less tears, more calculation. I recognized this version of him from work situations where he needed to close a deal. Okay, let's be realistic here. 3 years together, we have a whole life built. Shared apartment, combined everything. You really want to blow that up? Yes. What about the wedding deposits? We'll lose almost $8,000, better than a lifetime with someone who sees me as a placeholder. I don't see you as a placeholder. God, you're so dramatic. I had one bad day that lasted months, apparently, since you haven't been attracted to me for months. He switched tactics. Softer voice, the one he used when he wanted something. Fine, I messed up. But doesn't 3 years earn me one chance to make it right? You've had months to be honest. You chose to fake it and use me. I wasn't using you. I pulled out my phone. Want me to call Jason and ask him to repeat what you said about my network being incredible and timing your exit? His face went pale. You're being so mean. This isn't the woman I fell in love with. And you're not the man I thought you were. So we're even. I continued packing, folding clothes with mechanical precision. Each item felt heavy with history. The dress I'd worn to his company Christmas party, where he'd introduced me to his boss. The blouse I'd bought for the networking event, where I'd connected him with 3 potential clients. Had he been mentally calculating the value of those connections even then? Brady sat on the bed, watching me pack. His voice got smaller, almost childlike. I'm scared, Olivia. I'm scared I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. You already made it, months ago when you decided I wasn't enough, but stayed anyway for the benefits. What if I get counseling? What if I can figure out why I said those things? Because you meant them. Brady, you can't counsel yourself into being attracted to someone. And you can't undo the fact that you were actively planning to leave me while letting me plan our wedding. I closed the suitcase and looked at him, really looked at him. When had I stopped seeing him clearly? When had I started making excuses for his distance, his disinterest, his constant work stress explanations? Brady, when's the last time you told me I was beautiful without me fishing for compliments? He opened his mouth, then closed it. When's the last time you initiated any conversation about our relationship that wasn't logistics about the wedding or bills? Another pause. When's the last time you seemed genuinely excited to spend time with me? I watched him struggle with the questions, and I realized I already knew all the answers. It had been months, maybe longer. I'd been so busy trying to be the perfect partner, the understanding fiancé, that I'd ignored how one-sided everything had become. I left with my stuff. Brady yelled after me about the wedding, our lease, our future, how I was being unreasonable, how I'd regret this. As I loaded my car, my phone buzzed. Text from him. Fine, you want to play hardball? Game on. Hope you're ready. I stared at the message for a long moment. This was the man I'd been planning to marry, the man I'd trusted with my heart, my future, my professional reputation. And now he was threatening me because I wouldn't accept being his consolation prize. I didn't respond. Instead, I drove to Kate's house where she was waiting with wine and tissues. But for the first time since this whole nightmare started, I didn't feel like crying. I felt angry. And anger, I was learning, was much more useful than heartbreak. The game started immediately. First move, Brady told everyone I got cold feet and abandoned him right before the wedding. Poor victim narrative, maximum sympathy. His parents called my mom. She was upset, asking what happened. Had to explain everything. My mom went from sad to furious in about 30 seconds. Your mother called me, Mom said later. I let her have it. How dare she accuse my daughter of being unstable when her son admitted he wasn't attracted to you and was using you for career advancement? The story spread through our friend circles like wildfire. Some people got the real version, others believed Brady's spin. I lost a few friends, but honestly, anyone who knew me well didn't question my side for a second. My colleague Jessica stopped by my office the day after word got around our industry. I heard about the engagement, she said, closing my door behind her. Are you okay? Getting there. Thanks for asking. For what it's worth, I never liked him. Always felt like he was networking when he talked to people at company events, you know? Like he was calculating what everyone could do for him. Her words hit me. How many people had seen what I'd missed? How many red flags had I ignored because I was in love? But then things got interesting. I called the wedding venue to handle my half of the cancellation fees. They told me Brady had already called and said I was refusing to pay anything, leaving him with the full bill. I paid my half immediately and asked them to clarify the payment status with both parties. Brady texted within an hour. "Thanks for embarrassing me with the venue. Really classy. You told them I refused to pay. I paid my half." Who's embarrassing who? Whatever. You're going to regret this. Everyone's going to see what kind of person you really are. But then Jason called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Hey, I need to tell you something. Brady's asking me to lie for him." "About what?" "He wants me to tell people you were controlling, that you isolated him from friends, that you were emotionally manipulative. He's building this whole narrative." My stomach dropped. I sat down hard in my desk chair, suddenly feeling dizzy. "Are you going to?" "Hell no. I was there. I heard what he said about you. It was wrong. But heads up, he's about to go nuclear with this story. I wanted you to know first. Why are you telling me?" "Because it's messed up. And honestly, when you walked in that day, part of me was relieved. I'd been telling him for weeks he needed to either commit or stop wasting your time. He kept saying he was waiting for the right moment. You gave him that moment." I thanked Jason and hung up, then immediately called Kate. "He's going to try to destroy my reputation," I told her. "Let him try. Anyone who knows you won't believe it. And anyone who does believe it isn't worth knowing anyway." But Kate's confidence didn't prepare me for what came next. 2 days later, the smear campaign started in earnest. Social media posts about manipulative partners and emotional abuse. Brady never said my name, but everyone in our circle knew. His brother Colton started commenting on mutual friends' posts with little digs everywhere. Some women can't handle honest communication. Red flags everywhere, but men don't always see them. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That last one particularly stung because it was a Maya Angelou quote I'd posted months ago about something completely unrelated. Now he was weaponizing it against me. I mostly ignored it, but then Brady escalated hard. Our landlord called me at work. Brady had told him I was being hostile and aggressive, and he wanted me removed from the lease immediately for his safety. The landlord, Mr. Rodriguez, had known both of us for 2 years. "Unless there's a police report or restraining order, I can't remove you. You're both on the lease. I'm staying at my sister's. I'll keep paying my half until we figure this out. He wants you to pay full rent since you're not living there. Not happening. He can pay his half or find somewhere else." I got a consultation with a lawyer that afternoon. Jennifer Walsh had been recommended by a colleague who'd gone through a messy divorce. She was direct and practical. "Here's the reality," she said, spreading papers across her desk. "You're both on the lease, both financially responsible. He can't force you out or make you pay more than your share. If he interferes with your belongings or tries to change locks, that's illegal." She helped me draft an email to Brady outlining our legal responsibilities, copied Mr. Rodriguez. Brady's response was swift. "Can't believe you'd involve lawyers. So vindictive. Either come get your stuff or I'm donating it all." Jennifer sent a follow-up letter about illegal eviction and theft. Brady backed down on that threat, but the dirty tricks kept coming. The next morning, I got a call from HR. Melissa from Human Resources sounded apologetic. "Olivia, we received an anonymous complaint alleging erratic behavior and misuse of company resources for personal legal matters. I have to ask, are you dealing with some personal issues right now?" My manager, Carol, had already briefed me to expect this call. I explained the situation honestly. "Someone's trying to mess with your reputation," Melissa said. "We've checked your computer logs, your project timeline, everything. There's nothing here. This complaint is weirdly vague, and the timing is suspicious. But I need you to document everything, just in case." Then came the really low blow. My mom called that evening furious. "Brady sent me a message on Facebook. A long one about how you'd become controlling and cold, and how I should talk sense into you before you ruin both your lives. What did you say? I told him to stop contacting our family. What he said about you was unforgivable, and trying to manipulate me wouldn't change anything. But I could hear the doubt in her voice. The message had worked, at least partially. It planted seeds of uncertainty. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I was throwing away something good over one conversation. That night, I lay in Kate's guest bed staring at the ceiling, second-guessing everything. Was I overreacting? Was I being unreasonable? Had I really heard what I thought I heard? Then I remembered his laugh. The casual way he dismissed 3 years of my efforts as pathetic. The calculated timeline he'd laid out for using me until it was convenient to leave. No, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I was finally reacting appropriately to someone who'd been playing games with my heart and my future. The apartment situation finally got resolved when Brady realized he couldn't afford it alone, and I wasn't budging on paying more than half. We both broke the lease early and split the termination fee. He moved back with his parents. I found a smaller place closer to work, a one-bedroom with huge windows and a kitchen island, perfect for one person who actually enjoyed cooking for herself. Lost about $4,000 in wedding deposits total. Split it down the middle. It hurt my savings, but every penny felt like buying back my self-respect. Brady's family tried one last manipulation. Patricia called my mom for a woman-to-woman talk about not giving up on love. My mom shut it down immediately. My daughter didn't give up on love. She gave up on a man who was using her while planning his exit. There's a difference. I started therapy the following week. Dr. Aurelia Whitford came highly recommended, and our first session was exactly what I needed. "Tell me about your relationship patterns," she said. I explained about my first marriage, how I'd stayed too long trying to fix something that was fundamentally broken, how I'd thought Brady was different because he seemed stable, ambitious, kind. "What attracted you to him initially?" she asked. He seemed to really see me, asked about my work, remembered details about my projects, celebrated my successes. I felt like I'd found someone who valued my mind as much as anything else. And when did that change? I thought about it, probably around the 6-month mark of our engagement. He stopped asking follow-up questions about my day, started checking his phone during dinner. When I'd share good news about work, he'd turn it into a conversation about his own career challenges. Dr. Whitford nodded. "What did you tell yourself about those changes? That he was stressed, that everyone goes through rough patches, that if I just supported him better, things would improve." She leaned forward slightly. "Olivia, you've just described a pattern of diminishing investment from his side and increased compensation from yours. Does that sound like an equal partnership?" When she put it that way, it was obvious. I'd been working harder as he pulled away, interpreting his withdrawal as stress rather than disengagement. A few weeks later, I got a final text from Brady. "I hope you're happy. You destroyed my reputation, turned everyone against me, and ruined my career prospects. All because I had one moment of doubt. Hope karma gets you." I showed the text to Dr. Whitford at our next session. "What's your impulse when you read this?" she asked. To defend myself, to explain that it wasn't one moment of doubt, it was months of deception, to list all the ways I supported him that he's conveniently forgetting. And how does that serve you? It doesn't. I'm still trying to make him understand, even after everything. That was the breakthrough moment. I was still seeking validation from someone who'd proven he couldn't give it honestly. Jason reached out one last time. "He's been telling people you're some kind of psycho who destroyed his life on purpose. Just FYI, let him talk. Anyone who knows me won't believe it." That's what I figured. He's pretty bitter, though. Apparently, he didn't get that promotion after all. "Actions have consequences," I said, and realized I meant it without malice. It was just truth. Saw a mutual friend, Amy, at Target recently. She looked awkward. "Hey, I heard about everything. Just wanted to say I believe your side. What he said was really awful." "Thanks, Amy. He's been pretty vocal about blaming you for everything, though. His family's telling anyone who'll listen that you're vindictive and cruel. They can tell whoever they want. Doesn't change what happened." I meant it. For the first time in months, other people's opinions of my choices didn't feel like weights I had to carry. It's been 6 months now. I'm doing better, much better. The first few weeks were brutal. I second-guessed everything, replayed that conversation constantly. But therapy helped me understand that the red flags had been there for months. I'd just been too invested in the relationship I wanted us to have to see the one we actually had. My work life flourished once I stopped dividing my emotional energy between career and relationship damage control. I got promoted to senior marketing director, partly because I was finally putting full focus into my projects instead of worrying about Brady's mood or managing his career anxieties. Started working out again, something I'd gradually stopped doing because Brady always wanted to stay in and watch TV after dinner. Joined a hiking group for professional women. Made new friends who didn't know my history and liked me for exactly who I was in the present moment. Kate asked me last week if I was ready to date again. I don't think so, I told her. But for the first time, that doesn't scare me. What changed? I like my life now. I'm not looking for someone to complete it, or fix it, or make it more interesting. If someone comes along who adds to what I've built without asking me to compromise my standards, great. If not, I'm genuinely happy alone. Deleted all the photos finally. 3 years gone in about 20 minutes of clearing digital storage. Found the engagement ring in my jewelry box. Debated what to do with it. Decided returning it felt like closure. Mailed it back to Patricia with no note. Got a text from her. Unnecessarily cruel. I blocked that number too. The wedding would have been this weekend. Felt strange for about an hour, then mostly just grateful. Brady's apparently dating someone new already. Some woman from his gym. I genuinely hope she asks better questions than I did and pays attention to the answers. I'm taking it day by day. Working on projects I love. Spending time with people who actually enjoy my company. Figuring out who I am when I'm not constantly trying to earn someone's interest or manage their feelings about our relationship. The revenge people expected? I didn't need it. Reality handled everything. Brady wanted to use my connections while planning his exit. Those connections meant nothing once the truth came out. He wanted to time his departure perfectly. Got his exit on my timeline instead. Still hurts sometimes, but it's clean pain now instead of the confused ache of loving someone who was secretly counting days until he could leave. I'm 34, not 24. I don't have time for men who see me as good enough for now, but not good enough for always. The right time was that Tuesday evening when I walked through my bedroom door and heard the truth he thought I'd never hear. Best decision I ever made.